everyone. We're going to do the next pattern that I created from carpet patterns on my cruise. I did this one. Now, it's kind of hard to see on my phone, so I'm going to zoom it in and hold it a little bit closer up. This one was the pattern of the carpet in the stairways and the hallways to the cabins. So I thought it looked like pencil tips. My husband saw something else. He saw pianos. It's interesting. It can be turned different ways, you know. Doesn't really have an up or a down. But yeah, creating it was kind of a challenge, and I finally figured out something that's inspired by it. Doesn't look exactly the same, but I came up with this. Let me zoom out a little bit so you see the whole thing. I came up with this. That was my take on that particular thing. I know that these lines here are not in this carpet pattern. Mostly it's just this, but I felt like it was lacking something. I needed this, and this helps reinforce that sort of piano shape that my husband saw, and then this gives me that pencil shape that I saw. So I think it came out good. So that's what we're going to tackle today. I'm going to flip my page over to where I did the step out, because that was... Alright, so this one's going to be on a grid, but it's on like a brick pattern grid. So you need to draw a little bit of a rectangle, and you're going to need to offset it so that it's like rows of bricks. That's the first thing. Second thing is to draw sort of a lazy S type shape or curve. Kind of depends on how you're drawing it, but it's because when I turn it toward me, it's sort of a really lazy S. I started at the top and worked my way this way, and kind of a lazy S. Okay, and then you do a little loop underneath and fill that in so it looks like a little tadpole, little worm, little swimmy guy, right? Then these little lines here, and then from this line over into the corners. Oh, you can see that. That's better. So it's that, and then that, and then that, and then that. Not too hard. So it's really only 4, and once you get your grid in, I used the grid as number 1, is to make the brick pattern grid. But basically, once you've got that in, it's really only 4 different steps. So, let me show you how I did it. So I'm going to draw myself a border. And you could do this just with one. You wouldn't have to do the whole thing. You could just do the one row and make a border out of it. That would be good too. So I'm gonna go ahead and make my horizontals here. That's good. And then I'm gonna make not squares but more rectangles. And then every other one in a brick pattern. It's a little off. And it works. Okay, so you're just drawing brick pattern. Easy, you guys can do a brick pattern, right? Just kind of stick it in the middle there. Okay? That's the first step. Draw yourself a brick pattern. You can do that. Then you want to draw your lazy S's. So just kind of come down and over. And I'm going to do it for all of them at once. I didn't draw just one square at a time. I draw the whole. Oop. I don't think that was quite right. Haha. That one went awry. Mostly because I was thinking of that one while I was drawing instead of doing my thing. Well, that's all right. It will just be a little off. No biggie. Lazy ass. Lazy ass. This one's going to come out in there. And this one's going to kind of come up that way. Lazy ass. All right. So far, so good. Then you want to go, zoom in on it a little bit. Then you want to go and go a little bit below the line and make that into sort of a teardroppy shape, following that same kind of curve, and then just fill it in like that. Okay? And just do that for all of them. You might want to fast forward through this bit because it's a little tedious, but yeah, so I went around the ship and I took pictures of every single carpet that I could find. Some of them did not lend themselves to Zentangle patterns. Some of them were a little more random-ish. Some were just like circles. I mean, you could just draw circles, but that didn't, you know, didn't translate to a Zentangle type pattern. Some of them were just like dots or splashes of color. But you'd be surprised what kind of patterns are out there in the world. Imagine that wallpaper patterns would also be a really cool place to get inspiration for Zentangle. You remember back in the day when you could go into the hardware store and peruse the wallpaper, the books and books of wallpaper samples? I loved that. Not that I put wallpaper anywhere. Well, no, yeah. Occasionally we've put wallpaper in things. Oops. But I loved just sitting there and thumbing through all the different wallpaper books. My husband's boss, his wife, works for a fabric company and she has those sample books, those fabric sample books for designers. And sometimes my husband will bring home the ones that they're no longer using, the book goes out of style, they're no longer producing those particular patterns, and so they get rid of the sample books, and he'll bring those home to me. That's got all sorts of inspiration in them too. Most of the time it's, you know, more like flowers and things specific that you can recognize, but sometimes there's just a fun pattern in it. A little, every so often you'll get a piece of paper that's got like a little, right there, there was that bump. There's a little piece of paper fiber pulp that's sticking out of the page right there. It's not smooth. So my pen had a little bit of a hitch in its get along. Okay, and then this one comes down there. You don't really see that. And this one comes down. So they're not all exactly the same. My little S shapes are different on some of them, but that's okay. So there's that step. And you know, you could just stop right here, shade it, and that would be pretty awesome. Actually, I think I would really like it just like that. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to leave like 2 rows. I'm going to do these top. Let's see, do I have them in 2, 4, 6? I do. Oh, cool. Okay, I'm going to do 2 rows with a whole pattern. I'm going to do 2 rows with part of the pattern, and I'm going to do 2 rows just shaded just that way. I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay. So the next step that I have, and I'm just going to do 2 rows. I'm going to, where's my piece of scrap paper? Piece of scrap paper there, so I remember I'm just doing 2 rows. Okay, so in these 2 rows, I'm going to do the whole tangle. So I'm going to then do these lines here. Okay, and it goes on the underside. Sorry, I gotta flip my page over here. Look at my inspiration piece. Yeah, okay. Okay, I'm going to leave that one just like that. The next rows, I'm going to do the whole pattern. And then the bottom row, I'm going to do it just the way it is, with just the, yeah, we'll see. Okay, so then these 2 rows, I'm going to do the whole pattern, so it's this. And right here, this corner goes to that drop like that. So it's this. And then this corner to this drop, like that. Okay, got it? Like that. Okay, and then this row, I'm gonna get the same. This is the full pattern, this middle row here. Okay, missed a spot right there. Didn't touch the line. Okay, and then here, and that. Okay, that's the full one. And then these, I think I'm gonna leave. Maybe I'll just do this corner part, just this part, which is what the original one or kind of was more like. The original carpet really just had these things in the middle. Like that. So there's just the tips, just the piano shape, and the whole thing. So it looks differently depending on how much of the pattern you draw. You don't have to draw the whole thing. That's pretty cool. And then this one, how do I want to shade it? I want to shade it. I didn't shade my original one because I wasn't sure exactly how to do that. I think I'm going to try this. I'm just going to try it. If I don't like it, I can always, yeah, I think just like that. They almost look like a shoe. Let's see what that does. That's kind of cool. Okay. That's not bad. We could try shading just this vertical part and right there. Try that. Let's try that with this row. Just going to try out different shading, see what they look like. Okay, that looks different than that. And then maybe maybe these I'm just going to do across the bottom here. No one says your shading has to be the same. You can draw the tangle different. I mean, you can draw the tangle exactly the same way and then shade it differently, and you'd get a different result. There we go. Looks different in different things. Oh, I think I forgot to tell you what I called it. I called it Imagine. I called it Imagine because this was the main carpet in all the hallways to all the cabins, and we were on the Imagination, so I called it Imagine. That would be my naming thing. So there you go. That's the pattern. That's with it done, just part of it, the whole thing, and just part of it. Have fun with it. Let me show you again the inspiration carpet. There's the inspiration carpet. Oop. And there's my pattern. All right, you guys have a really great day. I hope you enjoy this pattern, and I have one more to show you. I will see you later. Bye-bye.